Great new day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome to another episode of the Room to Breathe podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so thrilled that you are here with us today. Whether you're tuning in for a dose of inspiration or just a moment of calm, you're in the right place. Now, before we dive into today's episode, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to tap the screen, like, comment, and share. Your support helps us to connect with more amazing people like you. And if we're not friends already, be sure to give us a follow and subscribe to our channel so that way you never miss out on our latest content. I also invite you to visit my website at selfcareclub.org. We have some awesome affirmative apparel, motivational merch, and a bunch of free resources waiting for you. It's all about empowering yourself and embracing your journey. No matter what challenges you're facing in life, remember that you are not alone on this path. We're here together, supporting and uplifting each other every step of the way. It's time for us to choose to prioritize our well-being, to embrace our growth, and to find peace in the present moment. Now let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together.
In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe. Every breath.
I see you, MK, Shan, Brooks in the building. Heaven, I see you, love. Welcome in. Thank you, JP. I see you. Lolo. For today, or our topic of discussion for today, is it's okay to be concerned, but don't be consumed. It's okay to be concerned, but don't be consumed. Now, we all know life is messy. It's unpredictable. It's wild, right? It's oftentimes a very chaotic ride. Brooke said, ouch. Ouch, right? It's a chaotic ride, right? If we're being honest. And most of us are just trying to hang on without losing our minds, right? And no matter how much we try to keep things together, sometimes life just has other plans for us. You can plan out all you want. You can make lists. You can set goals, right? We can have every single thing lined up perfectly. But guess what? Thank you, sir. Guess what? Life just comes in like a tornado, scattering everything. Even worse, sometimes life comes at you like a wrecking ball, destroying it all, right? So let me ask you guys a question. How many times have you felt like you've got everything under control, only to have something to come out of nowhere and knock the wind out of you? Show of hands. Anybody? Anybody ever experienced that? Where you thought you had it all lined up, and then next thing you know, all the pieces to your puzzle are all over the place. You're like, what just happened? All I did was blink. I went to the bathroom. I came back. Who messed this up? Currently experiencing it, Shan? I feel you. I feel you, sis. Brick said me. Yeah, y'all know that feeling, right? One minute you're coasting through. Everything is all good. Everything is smooth. And then, wham. Right? A problem hits, and now suddenly we're spiraling. And I know that we all know that feeling. Either we're currently going through it, like my girl Shan, or we've previously gone through it. Sad to say, if you're not currently in it and you can't recall previously doing it, it's probably about to happen. Right? And so, for some of us, it tends to start off small. Right? It's just a little worry at first. Maybe it's something at work, like a deadline creeping in. You're not sure if you're going to meet, or Maybe it's a fight that you had with somebody that you care about, and you keep replaying the conversation in your mind again and again and again, thinking about how you wish you could have said something differently. Or maybe it's a health issue that you got going on, and you can't stop Googling the symptoms. Whatever it is, it suddenly plants itself in your mind, and it doesn't let go, right? You cannot drop it. You can't let it go. And all of a sudden, before we know it, that small concern has turned into a full-blown obsession, right? It's no longer just a passing thought. It is now something that you're no longer concerned about because you're consumed by it. Brick said, you always be spot on with these topics. Listen, I know things, okay? The universe speaks to me. I listen. I know things. So, again, we're no longer concerned about it because now we're consumed by it. Welcome in, Darlene. You're with friends or family, but you're not really there, right? JP says that's when my anxiety eats me up. Yeah. Right? And so, like I said, you're like with your friends or your family, but you're not really there because that worry, that fear, that anxiety is now consuming you, and it's taking up all of the space in your head. You might be lying in the bed, staring up at the ceiling, and then worry is just right there, waiting to take over, heavy on your chest, making it hard for you to breathe sometimes, right? So can we just admit something? Can we be honest with ourselves about something? Worry is exhausting, right? Like JP said, that anxiety is eating you up. It is draining you. It takes every single thing out of you and leaves you feeling empty. Like you've run a marathon with no finish line in sight. You're just running and running and running and running and running. And for what? Thank you so much. First Lady, welcome in. And here's the kicker. Thank you, First Lady. Here's the kicker, you guys. Most of the time, that worry is something that you cannot even control. It's something that might happen. Something that could go wrong, but it hasn't yet. Right? It hasn't even happened yet. And yesterday we talked about, the no worries. I think I told you guys the wrong topic yesterday. But yesterday, our actual topic, I told you guys the one from the day before. Our topic yesterday was worry is a down payment on a problem that you may never have. Right? And so when we let worry creep in, we're paying something down that may or may not even happen. May or may not even take place. Thank you, Smurf. Right? And so, we've got to start to be real with ourselves to say, okay, why are we stressing ourselves over things that may not even come to pass? Why am I worrying myself over something that might not even happen? And it's like, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we keep putting ourselves in this vicious cycle? Welcome in, Spicy. Why do we let these worries consume us? It's like we think that by worrying, we're somehow preparing ourselves for the worst. Like, if we just think about it enough, if we worry about it enough, we'll be ready when the bad stuff happens. Anybody who's ever been a worrier, it has not prepared you. It has not prepared us. Right? So we've got to be honest with ourselves. When has worrying actually helped the situation? How many times have you gone through this mental gymnastics about worrying only for things to turn out fine in the end? It's going to be all right. Hey, Kale. Welcome in, sissy. And so think about this. Hey, Ferg, how many hours, days, or even weeks have you lost to worry? I, myself, cannot count how many. Thank you. I can't even count how many, right? I don't know how many hours. I can say countless hours. I don't know how many days. Many days, right? Multiple weeks that I've lost to worrying about things. Time that I could have spent enjoying my life. But instead, we stay stuck in this cycle of anxiety and stress. Thank you, guys. And I got nothing to show for it, y'all. What do we get out of it? What does worry give us? We did all that worry to solve a problem. And all that worrying, it didn't make it better. It just left me feeling more stressed, more tired, more defeated and depleted. Right? That's known as us burning the candle at both ends. My cup was draining faster than I could refill it because I was so focused on worrying about something. And I can honestly admit that many of the things that I used to worry about weren't even my burdens to bear. See, everyone has always come to me to talk to me. And I've had people who will come to me and they will share their stories with me. And then I sit up all night worrying about their problems. Cousin says, I don't even worry. It is what it is. That's what I say. Listen, that's a great mentality to think of. I ain't mad at you, cousin. I ain't mad at you at all. So the ugly truth about worry, about this, consumption, right? Us being consumed with worry. The ugly truth is that worry doesn't change anything. It doesn't fix the problem. All it does is rob you of your time, your energy, and your peace. And yet we keep doing it, right? We keep doing it. Yeah, you can't lose hair on what you can't change, right? And so we find ourselves doing this over and over and over again, even though we know that it's going to be the same outcome, right? Like we think if we do it enough, there's going to be some difference, but it's not, and it will never be. So now we have to move into what do we do, right? How do we stop? I know I shouldn't do it, and I know that Coach says that I should prioritize my time towards something else, and I should do something different. But how do we do it? Right, Shan? How do we shift this mentality? How do we stop ourselves from being consumed with worry? Now, I'm not going to just sit here and be like, stop worrying. Because if it were that easy, we'd all be Zen masters by now, right? Everybody would be ruled by the peace and positivity motto. But what I can tell you is that there's a difference between being concerned about a situation and consumed by a situation. Listen, Lo, I'm just being honest. Concern is natural. Being concerned over things, that is healthy. That's what keeps us alert, aware, and responsible. So I don't want y'all to just throw caution to the wind and be out here getting your feelings hurt, unprotected, okay? We can't be out here unprotected. So remember, concern for things is natural. Hey, Rosanna. Concern is natural. It is healthy. And it's what keeps us alert, aware, and responsible. But when concern tips over into obsession, that's when we got a problem, y'all. We've got to be careful not to spend too much time. And they say too much of anything could be bad, right? Every single thing in moderation. So as we, look to improve our self-care, we've got to understand everything in moderation. So if we're spending too much time being concerned on a particular thing, too much time stressing or worrying over something, right? Then now all of a sudden it turns into an obsession and we begin to be consumed by it. So, a question for you guys. What's the last thing that consumed you? Think about it. What was the last thing that took over your thoughts, your emotions, your life? How did it make you feel? And Brooke says her son. Perk says pain. I feel that. MK also says his son. Anybody else? What's the last thing that has consumed you? For those of you who answered, I want you to look back on this topic that you've given. Perk says relationships. I feel that. Rosanna said meal planning. Mine would be finances. Y'all, if I'm being transparent, something that had recently consumed me was finances. When at the end of the year, I had left my corporate job and discussed it with my husband, and we both agreed that I would step out on faith and work my life coaching business full time. And for the first 6 months, everything was Gucci, I was still getting, paid from work, things like that. So it was like there was no difference, right? It was like I was getting paid and I didn't have to work. But then, y'all, after like 6 months, when that regular reoccurring stream of income stopped, I started being consumed. I was initially concerned for 6 months of what it was going to look like. But then when it happened, when that wrecking ball kind of came through and I was like, I thought I had it all together. I thought I knew what I was doing. All of a sudden, I was just like, I don't have it all together. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's next. How am I going to do this? Hey, Addie. I was like, I don't know how to do this, what to do, what to say, how to feel, right, y'all? So all of a sudden, my concern began shifting and consuming me. It started dragging me down, right? And to the point where it was literally mentally, physically, and emotionally making me sick. And I know that everyone else who put something in the chat, I know you felt this feeling before, where you couldn't stop thinking about it. You watch TV, you think about it. You see what I'm saying? You're listening to music, you think about it. You're talking to your friend, you're thinking about it. It just consumes you to the point where now all of a sudden you're the downer of the crew, right? And so finally, I had to snap myself out of it. And I had to say, you know what, let me talk to my husband. I need to share my concerns with my husband. Because, y'all, I was literally ready to be like, let me go out here and get a job. Not that we're, not okay. What up, Tina Turner? Not that we're not okay. You know what I'm saying? But I was just like, I've worked since I was 12. So I'm 45 now, you guys. I have held a job since I was 12 years old. So to be unemployed, even though I'm operating my own business, in my head, I was still unemployed. And that was hard for me to grip. It was heavy for me to handle. And I'm like, listen, that's a lot of years of work, right, Lolo? That's a lot of years of work. And so I told my husband, and I'm like, yo, I'm thinking about I need to go back to work. Like, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to feel. And he was like, hold on. I thought that as you prayed that the universe was telling you to follow this and to do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel. But I got to do this. And my husband kept saying, but hold on. If you're saying that you're being called to do this, babe, and you want to be obedient, why would you be disobedient now? Because we're okay. And I got us. And I'm like, no, but I got to go to work. So y'all, like, I literally allowed it to consume me and not even hear what my husband was saying. Finally, I heard him. Right? I heard him, y'all. I kind of snapped out of it. But you know, that when I look back at that situation, and obviously it's still an ongoing situation. I'm still here operating my own business, right? But reminding myself, you got to be obedient. So when I look back at it, all that energy that I spent stressing over it, it just wasn't worth it, right? It didn't deserve to take up so much space in my mind. And I know that life doesn't come with a manual, right? This would probably be a little bit easier if we had some sort of book, right? But there is no guidebook that tells us how to handle chaos. You're right, Lo. It was great advice from my husband. And I thank him for it. But yeah, you guys, there's no guidebook to life telling us how to handle chaos, how to deal with the uncertainty, the endless list of things that can go wrong. So we're all just out here doing our best, right? Welcome in, Tamika. We're out here trying to control what we can control. And we worry about the rest, right? But the truth is, there's so much of this world that is out of our hands. So much that is out of our hands. And when we try to control the uncontrollable, that is when we get into trouble. Yesterday, I brought up something again that I heard during a TED Talk. And the gentleman said, he asked everybody in the audience, do you have a problem? And some people said yes. And he said, okay, you have a problem. Is there something you can do about it? Some people said yes. So his response was, then what are you worried about? Pose that same question again. Hey, Afro T-Lock, do you have a problem? Some people said no. Or, I'm sorry, some people said yes. And he said, is there something you can do about it? Some people said no. And he said, well, what are you worrying about it for? And of course, he asked the question again. Do you have a problem? And of course, there's some people who are like, nah, no. So what are you worried about? So regardless of whether you have a problem or you don't have a problem, whether you can do something about the problem or you can't do something about the problem, what are you worried about it for? Because if you can do something about it, then there's no need to worry. Just go do something about it. And if you can't do anything about it, then what are you worried about it for? Because there's nothing you can do about it. And for my little anxiety busy bees, if you don't even have a problem, what are we worried for? These hypothetical problems, these problems that could happen, that might happen, right? Hey, Telly. So we've got to remind ourselves of that when we're going through things or when we're worrying over things. We've got to ask ourselves, is this a problem? First and foremost, let's ask ourselves, is this my problem? Right? Is this my problem? Because I told you guys, a lot of what I spent so much time in the beginning worrying about wasn't even my problem. Y'all, it was me carrying everybody else's burdens. It was like I was going to the altar and picking up everybody else's burdens. I was over there like, Jesus, don't worry about it. I get it. I'll pick it up. I'll take Sister Mary's problem. I'll take Susan's problem. I'll take Brenda's problem. I got it. I got it, Jesus. Don't even worry about it. I know you busy. Right? Because that's how I was walking around here being the cleanup woman, y'all. Trying to fix everybody else's. I was Olivia Poping my whole community's problems. Only to then go back to God and be like, this is heavy. How do I do this? And for God to tell me it was never yours to do in the first place. Put it down. Stay in your lane, Shantae. Stay in your lane. And I'm like, okay, fine. Some days I would still pick up other people's burdens. So when we find ourselves worrying, again, we have to ask ourselves, is this my problem? It doesn't mean that I don't care about other people. It doesn't mean that I don't want to be a blessing or a help to other people. But I really have to ask myself, is this my problem? Am I lying, Telly? Like, is this my issue? Afro T like says, stop worrying about things out of your control. Amen. So once I've decided that this is or ain't my problem, that's how I move accordingly, right? And if I can do something about it, then there's absolutely no need for me to worry. So that situation that I explained, we're not struggling, but we not rich, y'all, right? But for some people, I know that the lifestyle that my family lives is grand for some people. We're blessed to live in a suburb, and there are 4 cars in our driveway. I mean, we have 6 people in the household, but there are 4 cars within our driveway. You guys, we got food, we got clothes, we got internet, we got, all these things that are amenities to some people. Not a flex. Not a flex at all, y'all. Could it be better? Absolutely. Could it be worse? Absolutely. So this problem that I was worrying about, when I started worrying about the finances, our bills are paid. Right? Do I have a lavish savings account somewhere? I do not. I'm not going to hold y'all. But our bills are paid. We're comfortable. But if this really truly became a problem when we were no longer making what ends we have meet, right? When we were no longer able to live the lifestyle that we're comfortable with living, I could go get a job to supplement things, right? So I had to figure out there's nothing to worry about. That it'll all work out. You know what I mean? So it's like, I had to start to really tell myself, if I have a problem, yes, there is something I can do about this problem. So there's no need for me to worry about it. We're not in the position where my back is up against the wall and I have no control over it. So the mere fact or the idea that I allowed this to consume me for a good week or two, month or two, hell, is crazy to me. Because if it was truly a problem, there is something that I could actually do about it. So there was no need for it to have taken up so much space in my mind. And I know that many of you can relate to that because we oftentimes give our time and energy to the wrong thing, to the wrong people, to the wrong situation. Hey, Mika girl. So, we need to learn to let go. Right? My dad used to always say, not my monkey, not my circus, y'all. Or not my monkey, not my show. We need to learn to let things go. Not of our responsibilities, right? We're not going to let go of our responsibilities. We're not going to let go of our concerns. But we need to learn to let go of the need to control everything. Heavy, yes, Shan, heavy on the learning to let go. We need to learn that some things are just going to be messy. That's okay. Right? We've got to let go of this desire to be perfect. It's okay for us not to have all the answers to things. It's okay for us to not know what's going to happen next. It's okay for us to be concerned about something without allowing it to consume us. Thank you, Colby. Just imagine what would happen if you just loosened your grip a little bit. Just a little bit. Welcome back, Trey's mom. Come on with the let go and let God, Kale. What if, instead of trying to control every single outcome, you allowed yourself to focus on the things that you could control and to let go of the rest? Absolutely. First Lady said, I need a master class for that. Perfection prevents production. Yeah. It stunts your progress. Absolutely. So what if we just allow ourselves to focus on the things that we can control and let go of the rest? What if we give ourselves permission to feel concern without allowing it to take over? Without allowing it to consume us. Right? MK says grow through what you go through. Some of that. Some of that. So again, it's okay to be concerned, right? But we want to avoid being consumed. We want to avoid allowing it to take over every single aspect of our life. Welcome in, Lady Blue. Kale says perfection prevents production. First Lady. Yes. Shan says face it until you make it. Because Shan says she ain't faking nothing, honey. She's just going to look it dead in the eye until she gets to where she got to go. She's going to keep her eyes on the road, throw everything else to the rear view. So here is an exercise for us. Okay, you guys? The next time you feel yourself getting consumed by worry, take a step back and ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, what can I do about this right now? What can I do about this right now? Misty Blue, welcome in. If there's something you can do, take action. If not, acknowledge that it is out of your hands. Again, you guys, if there's something you can do about it, take action. Handle your business. If not, acknowledge that it is out of your hands. Remind yourself that it is not thy will, it is the will of God. Let it go and give it to God. Right? Question number 2. Will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? Sometimes we let things consume us that in the grand scheme of life aren't as important as we actually made it out to be. So by asking ourselves, will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? That makes us determine how relevant this situation really is to our life. Rich Risings, Mr. T, welcome in. And the third question that you want to ask yourself when you find yourself being consumed. What is this worry costing me? What is this worry costing me? Because y'all know there's a price to worrying. right? Is it costing me my peace? Is it costing me my happiness, my sleep, my joy? What up, Chef? Hey, Laura. So when you ask yourself, what is this worry costing me? What are you giving up? What are you sacrificing to worry about it? Your peace of mind, your happiness, your sleep, your precious time. You know, we can't get that back. Thank you so much, Chef. Great new day. Inspired risings to you. Thank you, Mr. T. Brooke said all that. So again, we know that life is going to be chaotic. There will always be something to worry about. But here's the thing, we don't have to allow it to consume us. We don't have to let these things take over our lives. We can choose to acknowledge our concerns. We deal with what we can, and we let go of the rest. So here's my challenge for all of you today. The next time you feel worry creeping in, threatening to consume you, I want you to take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this really worth my peace? Is this really worth my peace? And if the answer is no, let it go. Not because you don't care about it, but because you care enough about yourself not to allow it to take over. And here's one more thing. I want you to begin to think about what your life would look like if you stopped letting worry be the driver. If you took back your control. Not by trying to fix everything, but by deciding that not everything deserves your attention, right? That not everything deserves a reaction from you. Figuring out what deserves your attention and what doesn't. What if instead of allowing chaos to consume you, you learn to find peace in the middle of it, right? Finding calm in the chaos. Because if I've learned nothing more about life, the beautiful, messy truth about it all, life is always going to be unpredictable. It's always going to throw curveballs our way. But we get to choose how we respond to it. We get to choose whether or not we allow this chaos to consume us. Or whether we simply take a step back, breathe, and choose to focus on what matters. Let me ask you guys one more question. Be honest. What's one worry that is consuming you lately? I asked before, and we talked about the past. And you guys, if you feel comfortable with putting it in the chat, you can. But if nothing else, think about it. One worry that has been consuming you lately. And as you think about that one worry that is consuming you lately, what's one small step you can take today to shift from being consumed to concerned? So in the chat, I see finances, I see health, I see family. So with these answers, what is one small step that you can take today to reclaim your power, to shift from being consumed and simply be concerned about it? What's next for you with the disability? Yeah. Right? So we've got to start to think. You said finances. So with finances, what's one step that you can take to improve your finances? Do we need to do debt management courses? Do we need to find us a side hustle? Do we need to create a budget and scale back? Right? So you got to ask yourself, what's one thing that I can do about my finances? Rob a bank is not an option. But what's something that we can do? Someone else said health. Right? All right. So when it comes to our health, there are things that are in our control. When we look to be healthy, right? We try to eat better. We try to be more active or exercise more. We try to drink more water. You know, we try to avoid. I can't with you, bruh. We try to avoid smoking and drinking, and there are all these things that we try to do to be more healthy. And then our body still says, nah, we gonna hurt. We gonna cause you a little pain and grief, right? But what is one thing that you can do? So for some of us, okay, we got a little ache and pain. What up, Greenbeard? Some of us get a little ache and pain, right? Maybe we need to reach out to Miss Debbie Perk, right? Get us a little, home remedy ointment pain cream, right? For some of us, we might need to go talk to the doctor and get a pain medicine, or we might need a little biofreeze on these knees because we didn't have Megan knees for far too long. You see what I'm saying? So when we think about it, we have to think, okay, I can't heal my back. I can't heal myself. But what can I do to bring my pain from a 10, maybe down to an 8? Hell, if we've been on a 10, I'll take a 9 for 200. I just want a little comfort. Right? Someone else said family. Now this is a tricky one, y'all. Family. Yeah, Kel, you got it right. That 420 oil. That's Miss Debbie, y'all. I got a lady here locally who makes this pain cream, y'all. And it's good stuff. And Perk has been privy to this here pain cream, and it is definitely a blessing. And when we be out of stock, because we be over here like, ow. And then when we are in stock, we be, good knees. Okay, anyways, y'all, focus. Family. Let's talk about it. So here's the thing about family. We can't control them people. We can't control them people. Them people gonna do what them people need to do. Okay? Them people gonna be how they gonna be. They gonna say what they gonna say. They gonna do what they can do. And I ain't got no control over it. But I have control over their access to me. So, if I got family who is constantly draining my energy, if I got family who's constantly crossing my boundaries and not respecting me and all this, right? Well, I just minimize their access to me. Because I understand that I am not for everyone. So, one of the things for the people who have this consumption over family situations, I remind myself that I am choosing to be intentional about who I allow to experience me. Because I am not for everyone. I have never claimed to be for the streets. MK, you right on track. So I begin to set my boundaries. Reminding myself that my boundaries are not walls to keep people out. My boundaries are there to protect me. So I draw a line in the sand saying, you know what? If you cannot respect me, if you cannot respect these boundaries that I have set forward, if you cannot give me the decency, right, to acknowledge that this is what I've got going on and that this is what you're doing to hinder my growth, you don't deserve access to me. So this back and forth that people keep taking you on, these roller coasters that people keep taking you on, sis, at some point you just got to get the hell off the ride. Hi, Movado, welcome in. You just got to get the hell off the ride. Otherwise, they're going to keep taking you through all these hills and mountains and whatever. You got to get off the ride. You've got to remind yourself that's still going to be your mama. That's still going to be your daddy. It's still going to be your auntie. It's still going to be your nephew. It's still going to be your son. It's still going to be your daughter. Pardon my French. Whether I fuck with you or not, we still family. So, if I choose to give a little less cares, we still family. Yeah. Brooke said, pull over. I need out this car. I need to get the hell out this car. Welcome to the north side, Mika. She said, let me out. Let me out. Pull over. I don't want to do it. Right? It's like when you on a roller coaster. Remember as a kid, y'all got on a roller coaster and you realize this is not what you want to do. And so you start screaming bloody murder. And you're like, let me off. Stop the ride. Emergency. Push the button. 911. Somebody call the police. Like, I need help. Right? That's what we have to do with people. And I always gave the analogy that we road tripping. Because that's when my family used to get on my nerves the most, y'all. You be road tripping, and then you got this backseat driver, this passenger driver, right? At some point, you just got to pull over, pop the locks, and you look them dead in the eye, and you're like, get the F out my car. Get out. You done popped the trunk. You done got out, threw they bags over to the mile marker 22, gave them a couple bucks, right? Let them know the bus will be here in a minute. Get somebody else to do it. Call Tyrone. I don't care what you do. Just don't do it in here. You just got to let them go. And it is difficult in the beginning because we love these people. They are family. They are family. But then I got to remind myself, I ain't choose these people. I ain't asked to be here. Right? Like, so I don't have to choose this and put up with your shit either. So again, ask yourself what it is that's consuming you guys. And start to think about one small step. It doesn't have to be something large, because we know progress is progress. Ask yourself, what small step can you take today that will help you to shift from being consumed to simply concerned? Because at the end of the day, it's not about avoiding the mess. Mess is gonna happen, right? Isabella, humble one, we know the mess is gonna happen. Life gonna life. It's about learning how to live without allowing it to take over. So we're gonna have problems, y'all. We're gonna have things that come up. There are going to be issues that are just simply out of our control. All we have to do is remind ourselves that that issue is simply out of our control. Lee, it's nothing I can do about it. So why am I stressed over it? That's when we go back to choosing faith over fear. What I'm afraid of. I know that I'm covered and I'm protected, and I know that the universe got me. God got me. So what am I worried about? I know that I can fix it, or I know that I can't fix it. I can mend it, I can heal it, I can change it, I can shift it, or I can't. So I'm not going to allow it to consume me anymore. Right? I'm going to comfortably be concerned and no longer be consumed by things that are out of my control. So as we wrap up today's episode, I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. If you've enjoyed our time together and we're not friends already, be sure to give me a follow, subscribe to our channel so that way you never miss out on our latest content. I again invite each and every one of you to visit my website at theselfcareclub.org to book your personalized one-on-one coaching sessions. We also have affirmative apparel and other motivational merch, including music, as well as a treasure trove of free resources designed just for you. Whether you're looking to elevate your self-care game or just find some extra inspiration, know that we've got you covered. I thank each and every one of you for being a part of our community, and I'm excited to connect with you all again soon. But until next time, keep breathing, stay positive, and remember that you're always supported here in this space. Don't be afraid to take up space and make a little room for you to breathe. I pray that each and every one of you have an amazing day on purpose, filled with purpose, and I encourage you all to go out there and be great.